bake-off?
Yeah, it was actually quite good. I had a big sugar rush, but it was the very first Foundry 42 cake bake-off. The entries we got were spectacular. I'm not sure I got that much work done later in the afternoon, but you know, well done to everyone there. I didn't know we had that much baking talent in our UK office.
There you go. Ships as well. So we were having our first ever Valentine's.
Our props team have a few components and ship parts to show us, including a shield generator, a storage console, and a mining module.
look at, and there's quite a sort of difference in terms of detail and quality. And the amazing thing was back in 2012, I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. I don't think you could get something more detailed or cooler in a game back then. And I sort of look at how we move along every single year and how better we get. And I'm always in awe at the ability and the talent of our artists. And for us to build this world that feels that tactile with these ships that feel that real. They don't really feel like a fake or a digital ship. They feel like a real ship. And that's our goal, is to prove
that first you have to acquire a lot of servers, and that's a pretty big expense. Whereas with the cloud or hosted rental market, we can only rent or buy what we need. And we can turn it off and stop paying for it if we're not using it. With dedicated hardware, we have else's, we don't have to worry so much about that. If a fan goes out or a CPU or a power supply goes out in a virtual environment, these systems are designed.
So the game itself needs, any client that any player has needs another component, the DGS, the dedicated game server. We always call it DGS. However, you cannot have this connection between the player and the dedicated game server that he wants to play with, unless you have a lot of back-end services taking care of a lot of business logic that the player needs. For example, or our VM mainly fall in three main types. We have a hub server or a hub VM, and a core VM, and a game VM. The game VM is just a virtual machine that we acquire from our public cloud provider. In our current case, it's EC2, and they all get connected to the core services. The core box would have several services. Most importantly, we have GEM, the General Instance Manager. A lot of backers already are familiar with the name and know what it does. And we have the P-cache, persistence cache. Persistence cache sits before the persistence database service that writes directly to the database, taking all the traffic from all the dedicated game servers and pushing it down to the database in more of a queued, organized manner, rather than having all the game servers hammering one single service. The current model that we have, we can have as many hubs.
But it was not a very big computer, and it sat under one guy's desk, and we got one build a day. The needs of the publishing increased so rapidly that this one computer wasn't going to be enough. And when we took a look at this, we realized we would. So we've built a virtualization infrastructure where we can actually expand, much in the same way the game servers run. We expand a internal build system that increases dynamically based on the needs.
Tell me about what you've been working
servers in as many regions as we want, without the player having the disconnect that he has to move from a region to another, because you all share the single database. So the same player can play in EU, and then a few minutes later can switch and go back and play in the US, and he'll find the same information that he needs. As any new feature we come out with, as I was just explaining, we try to come out with a certain delivery. We have been building or editing our automation tools, Salt Stack, to be able to cope with different regions, different naming, different availability zones, which is a concept that happened inside AWS, and how we current region in Virginia, North Virginia, US Eastport, and we will be adding Frankfurt, and we will be adding Sydney. And it's been a lot of fun. Just every single minute that was spent in this project, connecting these regions together, making sure that everything worked correctly. It was kind of different than any other changes that we did, because we know that this will really enhance.
One piece of it is where the game server is located. This is the DGS that you talked about. And the other piece, which is invisible to the player, is where the hub server is located.
Yes.
And so my understanding is that as we roll out to these different regions, that players will always connect to the hub server that's closest to them.
Absolutely.
Which gets them into our network at that point, instead of just going over the open internet. And then from there, they can play on a dedicated game server that's either located in that same region, or the DGS may be located in another region.
Correct. So we would be able, using a service like Route 53, to send players the closest load balancer to them, and from the load balancer it would take it to the most suitable hub server they have. The moment you get in this hub, you will get marked with a region ID. That's the region ID you walked in with, and the matchmaker will respect that choice. you came from region ID, that means Europe, then you're going to get sent to a game server in Europe. You want to go play with your friends, then make your selection and go play in the US. So hopefully this will be rolled out real soon, and players will enjoy it, and we will expand on it and listen to all the feedback and try to make it much better.
Yep.
Organizational body we have is called VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. And a virtual private cloud cannot go across regions. So you cannot have one single VPC, which is a cloud, and by the cloud meaning it follows one single network CIDR, like it's a single internal network that you can divide in between, but you cannot really make a VPC have the same existence, the same IP address, subnet, or the same networking between two different regions. So you have to make sure that you make your own tunnels, and you have to make sure that your VPCs will align correctly. They're not going to collide. You will get to know who's coming from what, who needs to what. Any other traffic will get in the way, and also be able to recover. Because definitely, while you're being in the cloud, it's such a great thing. It's an amazing thing, but always designed for failure. We had to Sydney, and we're going to Frankfurt. Frankfurt is actually central in Europe. When you look at it, we could have one in Ireland. That makes it a little bit easier for us. But we said, okay, let's do it. So we're going to Sydney, Frankfurt, and Virginia for the first rollout. I'm not sure if I can state them all. I think I can. They have Ohio, Oregon, California, Ireland, London, Sydney, Mumbai, Sao Paulo, Brazil, I believe Tokyo, Japan, Seoul, Korea. So yeah, sky's the limit. And they keep adding more regions. I believe they're gonna have a new region in France and one more in China soon. So as you mentioned,
We will see you
Around the verse. Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.